Hey guys, welcome back to Tips from the Bench. Today we're going to talk about Stratocasters. We're going to do a two-part series on these. So we're going to talk about a couple different ways to adjust the infamous Stratocaster tremolo. One big difference between Strats through the ages is originally they did this vintage style truss rod, which you have to adjust here. The first thing we always do is adjust our neck. So this one you actually have to remove the neck from the guitar to adjust it. Later into the 70s, Fender came up with this bullet design. It looks like the tip of a bullet sticking out. And that's where you adjust it on a 70s instrument. Later on, they came up with the biflex. It's the same wrench size as the bullet, but now the nut is actually up under this fret here. So that's the three different truss rod systems that you will encounter. One way that Fender commonly ships their Stratocasters is with the bridge perched. Episode 2 is going to show you how to do that effectively. Episode 1, we are going to do what's called decking or hardtailing in a way. So with your Strat, you got your neck adjusted, strings up to tension, because what a Stratocaster does is it uses the springs in the back to counteract the string tension. So the way to get this bridge to go up and down is to tighten or loosen the springs. And that's just done with the Phillips screwdriver. Right now I've got this one tightened up, so when I bend a whole step, the bridge stays where it is. It makes a little bit different tonality out of the guitar, and it also makes it kind of more like a telly, because if you don't use a tremolo, which I seldomly ever do, this kind of helps just with tuning stability, a solid sound, and such things. These are also vintage Stratocaster bridges, which have 6 screws that hold the bridge down. We'll get into the in-depth about that in the next episode. But for now, we've got those springs tightened. There's a 4th spring added, so that keeps it very stable. This is a 57 reissue Strat, so it's got a very tight radius. So when we adjust the saddles to get the action, we got to follow that tighter radius. Sometimes you got to raise the action a little bit on the high E string if you want a clean bend. So my kind of general rule for this setup with the bridge on the guitar is I want to be able to get cleanly a minor 3rd bend out of the high E string. Once I have that, I kind of set everything proportionally to that height. Another thing you don't want to overlook is your pickup height. If you fret at the end of the fretboard, the last fret there, and you look at your clearance on your pull pieces, if your string is touching those pull pieces, it's not going to work well for you. It's going to mess up your intonation and the resonance of the guitar. So those are some basic starter points on a Stratocaster. We'll get into the floating trem in episode 2.